Sleep science, how to fix broken sleep without pills. You toss, you turn, you check the clock, 1 a.m., 3 a.m., 4:30 a.m. And you're thinking, do I need sleeping pills just to get some rest? Here's the truth. Most people can fix broken sleep without medications. Tonight, I'll walk you through the science of sleep and the simplest steps that actually work. So sleep is rest and repair in one. Your brain clears waste, your body balances hormones, your heart gets a break, and your gut gets a rest. So why do we struggle? Two big reasons include circadian rhythm. Your body clock gets thrown off by late nights, screens, or irregular schedules. Sleep pressure. Think of it like a balloon. The longer you're awake, the more pressure builds. Caffeine, naps, or stress can sometimes mess with this. Now, if you were my patient, here are certain things that I'd give you. For example, sleep hygiene is key. You want to try to wake up at the same time, go to sleep at the same time, even weekends. No caffeine after 2 p.m. It can linger for hours. Your room should be dark, cool, and quiet. Best temperature around 65 to 68 degrees. And you want to cut off any screen time about an hour before you sleep because blue light can block melatonin. Of course, some things are calm and repeatable. And what not to rely on. Sleeping pills can help short term, but they don't fix the root cause. Over time, they can cause dependence and even make sleep quality worse. Natural supplements like melatonin can help if timed right, but they're not cures. The real fix is retaining your sleep system without external factors. Obviously, there are red flags. When should you get checked? If you snore loudly, stop breathing at night, or feel exhausted no matter how much you sleep, that could be sleep apnea. Or if anxiety, depression, or chronic pain are the real blockers, treating those comes first. Sleep doesn't need to be a nightly battle. With the right habits, your body can reset and no pills may be required. So tonight, try one thing. Set your phone down about an hour before bed and see what changes. The whole point is sleep is so complex that you want to make baby steps that can help you develop the proper habits. We talked about routines. For example, you may want to brush. You want to, like we talked about, cut down on blue screen time and usually disconnect. Either you can read or do nothing. Sometimes we're so overfilled with tasks and emails and what you call it throughout the day, we need to decompress. And the easiest and maybe most effective is to do nothing. Sit in silence before you sleep. Now, of course, there's so many things even outside of just medicines or supplements that can help. There's some studies that show lavender, like lighting a lavender candle, lavender oil, can actually relax you. Even listening to certain types of music called binaural beats can actually trick your brain into functioning at a certain wavelength. Like when we're talking, we're at a certain wavelength, and when we sleep, we're at a different wavelength. The whole point is sleep is very complicated. I have a lot of patients that struggle with sleep. I myself struggle with sleep, to be honest. I've done a few different things, but what I find to be most effective actually is breathing. Nice, deep breaths, especially when we're getting ready to sleep. Normally, we tend to breathe from here on up versus our full lungs. And of course, I'm a big believer that actually trying to sleep at the same time or trying to wake up at the same time can train your body and your mind to help itself. For those who eat kind of late at night, remember, when you're eating later at night, you're basically creating a disconnect between your brain and your body. A lot of us think that when we sleep, it's only our brain that goes to sleep. Don't forget, our body also needs so much rest. Our muscles need to repair. Our digestive system needs to clean itself out. But let's say you eat a little bit later, what's gonna happen is you're gonna try to sleep. Your brain is gonna say, okay, I'm ready, I'm gonna sleep. But don't forget, there's a whole nother entire system working away, working overtime, just to break down that food that you may have just eaten. So even though you may feel like you're sleepy, you might have acid reflux. You might feel uncomfortable. You might feel bloated. You might get gassy. You might need to pee more at night. And that's because there's an issue with the connection between your brain and sleep. Our goal is always to try to be in synchronicity with both your mind and your body. For me, sometimes another thing I like to do is to sit down, maybe read, sometimes journal. If you journal at night, you can actually get all those thoughts and maybe all the stress of your day out physically onto a piece of paper. Yeah, I know people say, okay, that's crazy. I don't need to do that. I just think about it and I can bury it. Don't do that. Don't bury your stress. Don't sleep with the stress or whatever negative emotions you may be dealing with during the day. That's really not fair to yourself, and you definitely don't want to carry that over to the next day. Because who knows, the next day may bring its own set of stress. A lot of times, a lot of these things compound in our sleep. So just like you have to have a valve where you have a decompression valve or a release valve, you want to make it a habit to release your stress and your thoughts, whether it's in the morning or at night. And you'll be surprised just maybe how much more tranquil your sleep will be. For those who maybe live in an apartment, who live close to roads or a train, there's a lot of different options like white noise machines that can mimic the ocean, can mimic a fan. Some people do sleep with earplugs in. Just be careful, you don't want to miss your alarm. I don't really recommend you sleep with AirPods or earphones just because it can cause some other issues, can irritate your ears. And if you're listening to something, remember, our brains are always processing information. So you don't want to have your brain be fed subconsciously. The whole idea is, the truth is, as we go through life, our sleep patterns will change for so many different reasons. Our goal is to try to minimize everything we can and to help you help yourself. Sleep is a simple luxury in life, and we spend about 30% of our lives sleeping. So clearly there's a huge push and a huge importance to try to get the best sleep as possible. Obviously, if you feel like the natural ways are not working, we do have plenty of supplements, plenty of different strategies to help you. And my goal is to start slowly, and usually we try one or two things at a time. If I were to tell you to take and do different things, like 4 or 5 different things, and let's say it works, we may not know which one is actually working and which one is not. So next time you feel like you're frustrated, don't worry. It's very common, and there's always a solution.